big news drop a few days ago. I think this was actually yesterday. Suddenly, we hear that Albert Kim has stepped down as showrunner for the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Big deal. Big deal, just a season in, suddenly to go away. Now, I do think there is a reason for this. I think the dev cycle for the series was so long that I think Albert might have just been like, I've been with the series for like 6 years. Because don't forget, it was announced in, I believe, 2018. So, he obviously didn't originally produce it, right? He wasn't showrunning it, because that was Mike and Brian. But he took over relatively soon. So, he has been working on it for years, even though there's only one season. So I do think there is like precedent as to why he might want to leave. And he has signed a deal with Disney to work as an executive producer on Percy Jackson. I still haven't watched it. I've heard mixed things about Percy Jackson as well, so I'm not sure how good it is and what's going on there. Maybe they're also changing like producers, or maybe they're getting an extra one. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people were saying that this is like the D&D situation, right? He has decided to switch his, I guess, project, and suddenly just left. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think this is like him seeing money signs at Disney or anything. I don't. I think it's genuinely just like him. I mean, Avatar, based on everything he said in the interviews, I do think he knew what he was getting into with Avatar. And I think it's just a bit too much. The series is pulling like 50-something million viewers. It's ridiculous. We looked at the numbers recently. So I do think there's like I think it's a mixture of how long he's worked on it and just a bit of him being overwhelmed by it, just by such a big project. So I don't blame him for just wanting to change things up. And obviously right on the heels of that, we heard that these two people who executive produced, I guess also, the first season will now develop season 2 and 3. But that's not all, because there's a full thing with this. And this is where things get really spicy, right? Because changing showrunners, not a big deal. If you know, I followed The Walking Dead all the way through. The Walking Dead was a disaster. If you know, season 1 was originally showrun by Frank Darabont, right? Everyone knew Frank Darabont. That's why most people, I think, started watching the series, to be honest. Then they had a big mix-up, and then they changed to Glenn Mazzaro with season 2 and 3. Then Gimple took over. They were switching showrunners left, right, and center, and it was perfectly fine. Right, so changing showrunners is not like a big deal where we should all lose our minds, you know, it's not. It can be, but it's not, usually. But that's not all, like I said, because then they dropped this. So this is just about him stepping away. Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino personally hired him for the writer's room, we know this, and then they were leaving all the way back in 2020. So we know all of this, over creative differences. Was right here. We'll look into the two new showrunners as well, because I honestly don't know anything about them. So I kind of scrolled through them, and we'll go through them again. The really spicy stuff though. All right, this is where things get really scary. I don't think I can zoom in. Due to the actors' ages, which by the way, if you've seen posts with Gordon now, I don't know how they're gonna make it work. Gordon looks insanely older. Like, he looks, I don't know how they're gonna explain it away. They said it's the Stranger Things problem, but it's much worse than the Stranger Things problem, because this has been in development for so long. If they don't film them like literally back to back, it's gonna be really awkward. But that's beside the point. Because we know they are filming back to back, right? They just need to do it like very quickly, I think. We've also been notified that Netflix may give each subsequent season a lower episode count to increase the number of views each season receives. However, this is also not set in stone just yet. Now, remember what I said about Netflix's retention management thingy? I talked about this with the first season and with every single Netflix show. This, I think, is another jab at that. Reducing the episode number just to concentrate the viewers in this shorter amount of time, just to get their attention 1,000,000% through, it makes sense to me. Now, it doesn't make sense from any sort of creative perspective, because I hate it. There's already not enough time, and they're clearly cutting stuff, right? We even heard about this with One Piece as well. A lot of the stuff that was cut was purely down to Netflix, which is not cool. Not very cool at all. So, you know, I don't want this. I don't think anyone wants this, and I really hope that someone over at Netflix realizes that making a good product will probably get them more money than, you know, trying to do these weird attention-grabby retention mechanisms of sorts. This is very, very worrisome. The fact that something like this is even being floated around. Now, again, nothing about this is set in stone. Nothing. Frankly, I don't even know where this rumor comes from. Because I don't think it says anywhere where this sort of thing comes from. It's just added here at the very end as just like a random sentence, you know? But point being, if they do this, I think season's basically going to be dead on arrival, I'm going to be honest. Who cares if it's a rushed mess people hate as long as they watch Netflix? Yeah. I think that's generally their motto. Like I said, this is the case with every single Netflix show. You will notice how quickly they cut away from scenes. You will notice that they do not linger on scenes, and I think that is because of the binge model. I think they need to do all of these weird things where, like, the scene is, like, the average scene is, like, 5 seconds long or something, because people will lose attention. And if you have all 8 episodes out, you cannot lose the person's attention. I genuinely think that's what this is. I genuinely do. So making a shorter season is just, like, a way to do that. Because don't forget, when Netflix started doing, like, their original shows, all of them were 10 episodes long. They weren't 8 episodes. This 8-episode thing is relatively recent. Now it feels like most of their shows are actually 8 episodes. So, I don't want to be a doomsayer, but there is precedent for this already happening. When I started watching Netflix, everything was 10 episodes across the board. If it goes down to 6, that's when things are going to get real bad. Ain't no way. Because, Dallas was talking about potentially getting more, right? Zuko's actor. I really, really hope this doesn't happen. I don't. To me, I think this would be... I'd obviously still watch it, but I just can't envision a world where fewer episodes translates into anything good. I don't. We have to find out relatively soon, though. I imagine. Because they should be getting back to production relatively soon. I'm waiting for 2 60-minute episodes a season. Something like that, yeah. Something like that. Because, the thing is, like with the longer and shorter episodes, I think the biggest problem they had with even, because this is something I keep saying, the runtime for the Netflix show was actually longer than the animated show, right? So this isn't a case of, like, with One Piece, they had to cut a lot of stuff. They didn't. With Avatar, they had more than enough time. The problem with this is that if you have these big episodes, but you have only a few of them, it's very hard to tie together 2 unrelated stories in the same way that the animated show could do, because they were 2 separate episodes, right? So, like, going from the fortune teller to, like, the blue spirit to, like, something else, it doesn't need, like, a bridge between them. Because the episode ends, so in your mind, it's going to be a different thing. But if the whole thing takes place in a single episode, you can't just be like, we're done with this, suddenly a different story begins. That's bad. You don't want that, right? And that's what I mean. Like, even if they had 2-hour episodes, it still wouldn't really change much, I think. Because the thing they struggled with is pulling the story threads together, you know? Everything felt kind of disconnected, in a way. How are they going to portray a month in Ba Sing Se? I think these sort of passage of time type of deals is always... I find it's really weird, you know? It's one of those things where you tell someone who's not, like, super familiar with all the... Because, I mean, Roku says it, right? But I feel like a lot of people tend to forget that all of Avatar happens in the space of a few months, right? And you tell someone that all of Avatar happens in the space of a few months, and they're like, wait, hold up, what? Passage of time in these series is generally something that's really tricky to get down. So I've got no idea how they do it. If they had, like, fewer episodes and everything. I don't know. Characters carry the show? I mean, I hope so. I hope so, though, like, with the introduction of Toph and everything, they're gonna pop off. But, like... Book 1, like I said, with Book 1, there's a lot of stuff you could cut. With Book 2, there really isn't anything you can outwardly cut. Book 2 is much, much more linear. You know, there's not a lot of wiggle room with what goes and what doesn't. It kind of all needs to be there. Unless they want to change it up, like, drastically. At which point, I mean, no point in making predictions there, right? But I wanted to look into the two of these people. Because they also have an Avatar wiki, right? So, they will now showrun the both of them. And obviously, like I said, both of them are credited on all the episodes as well. What I'm very glad about is that none of them are writers or directors for episode 7, because episode 7 to me was the worst one by a long shot. I've seen this series like 3 times now. Episode 7 to me is still like by miles the worst one. Game of Thrones, second unit. I think the second unit director is the person responsible for like secondary cameras. Might be wrong about that. Pretty sure that's what it is. But that's kind of irrelevant. We want to look at actual... Let me open up IMDb, it's probably going to be better. This dude, he is like a VFX dude. I was very confused by that. Because most of his credits are in VFX. Producer, Lost in Space. What is this? So this is another Netflix series. Okay. I haven't heard of this. Has 3 seasons though. Oh my god, it's Toby Stevens. Captain Flint. Okay, what else is there? And yeah, he hasn't really produced a lot of stuff, I guess. I like Lost in Space? Yeah, I've never heard of it. It has Captain Flint, though. Captain Flint. What? It's not even known for? What are you talking about? Black Sails, Captain Flint. There it is. Everyone should watch this series right now. Just go watch it. Literally right now. Watch it right now. Alright, what about this person? Poker Face producer. Okay. That's a Peacock thing. Citadel, whatever that is. That's pretty bad. Punisher. Okay. That's a good sign. Let's look at Punisher real quick. Cast and crew, I guess. Directors. Castle, Citadel, Constantine. Yeah, those are the same stuff, okay. Yeah, Punisher was really, really good. But I don't know, it feels like a little bit all over the place. Poker Face. Pretty sure I've heard about this, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Yeah, I'm really not sure what to make of like the showrunners changing, I'm gonna be honest. Hard to say. Cause when we looked at like all the Albert Kim interviews, I generally had a really, really good vibe from him. It felt like I said, I think he knew what he was getting into, right? He talked about like the legacy and everything. He talked about adapting the vibe, not like the story itself, you know? He said all the good things. He said all the good things. And, like, I mean, it turned out to be a bit of a mixed bag, but generally I think he did relatively good. Early seasons Flash was also good? Yes, but, which one of them did Flash? Second unit director? Yeah, but there's VFX and second unit director. And Flash when? 2014, okay. 2014, that was good. That was good. Basically, my opinion on all of this is that, like, it's going to be really, really hard to say anything about the showrunners changing, I think. I do think it is, like, it's definitely a thing you want to keep in mind. The fact that something is going on behind the scenes to cause this, like, shakeup, right? But these people were already involved with the project. So this is not like Netflix behind the scenes saying, we messed up, we're swapping out everyone, we're basically starting from scratch. This is not it. I don't think so. So it's going to be very, very hard to say what effect this actually has until we really see what it is. If anything, my best advice for them, if they ever stumble upon this video, my best advice for you, please don't talk about things in interviews. Just never say anything. Never say anything about the story, changes, nothing. Just do not talk in interviews. Talk about the show, talk about your experience making it, but never say anything about the story. Last time it ended very, very badly. Very, very badly. Very poorly. So let's not do that. But yeah, I'm not concerned with the showrunners changing, but what I am concerned about is this. This right here is the thing that has me very, very worried. Season 2 is going to be a very, very different beast, because we don't know of Sozin's Comet yet. We have to find out about that somehow. Probably going to be in the library, is my guess. We don't really know anything about the Avatar State. I presume Avatar State will be in the episode called Avatar State. Presume we're going to find out about that there. There were executive producers who mostly did management, budgeting, and promotion, though. Showrunning is more of a creative vision. Yeah, but with a lot of these people, they just, like, mingle among each other, and, like, their professions are, like, a lot more similar than what we really see. Their job positions are obviously put formally down, but, like, a lot of the people who swapped around with The Walking Dead, for example, were also, like, writers and stuff. They just swapped around. Book 2, I think, is going to be make it or break it for them. I think they have a lot of potential to improve with Book 2. I'm generally really positive about it. It does feel like, something I observed with my channel is that it felt like the initial reactions were much, much better than they are now. It feels like a lot of people were generally on the side of it being positive, and slowly but surely more and more people have started to lean toward it being negative. That's what I've observed. I am still in the camp of I have hope. I think Season 1 was decent. They have a lot of things they can improve on. I am generally positive about the whole thing. Generally. That's not to say there are not things I'm very, very worried about. Especially with Book 2, where they've already changed a lot of things with Book 1, but, you know. With One Piece, I honestly think it's less so a worry, because I think with One Piece, there's, it's a very different beast. One Piece right now, I think, is basically just a... I think One Piece live action is the world's most expensive advertisement for the manga, in the same way that the anime is a very expensive advertisement for the manga. So I don't think we should really worry about live action One Piece at all. I think there's probably some sort of deal with Shueisha in there, right? Because they're also remaking the One Piece anime. I think moving forward, it's good to look at like VFX and everything in Avatar and apply them to One Piece. But I think in terms of the business side and how it operates, I don't think you should look at Avatar and One Piece as two similar things like at all. I think with the big deal Netflix has struck with Shueisha and One Piece in general, I think the amount of money going behind the scenes there has got to be insane. Whereas with Avatar, it doesn't have that, right? Like Avatar is a separate entity in Paramount. Paramount doesn't have like a big thing with Netflix. They really need to start filming by the start of the start of next year or late 2024. Can't have Gordon be taller than Ian. Yes, they'll give him a bigger staff to make him seem smaller. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. Yeah, like just to mess with the perception at least a little bit. Maybe by the time they get around to like actually making it, like they would have figured out, because a lot of de-aging technology exists, right? Maybe they would have figured it out so that it's like very easy to do and very inexpensive. They could just do it on the fly. I don't think they're going to do that, but maybe. Maybe like scale him down, make his face seem a little bit younger. I don't know. Deep fake his own face onto his own face. Something like that. I don't know. I don't think there's a solution. Make him stand further. Yeah, it's like, Ian, you're gonna come to us. Gordon, go back, right? They're just gonna stand like this. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. They have to be moving quickly. Otherwise, we're gonna have the adult Aang movie before the adult Aang movie. I think it's worth reiterating. Like, none of this is confirmed at all. The only thing we know for a fact is that the showrunners are changing. The episode thing is completely... It came out of the blue, and hopefully it's not true.